Again, this is Solving Quadratics Review Packet. Problem 22, we are on the type of problem where we're picking our favorite method. And just a reminder, when you're picking your favorite method, if you don't know which method to use, then you should always pick the quadratic formula. But when I approach these problems, I always think, well, can I factor? And actually on this particular problem, I am going to factor. And when we're factoring, what we need to ask ourselves is, do we have a greatest common factor? And in this problem, we have one. It's x. We factor out an x, we're left with 7x. We had 2 x's, we took out 1, so we have 1 left. Then we have a 5. We had 1x, we took it out. And then remember, we take each factor and we set it equal to 0. Factoring, when we can do it, is a very quick method. But it might not be your favorite. And again, if it's not your favorite, maybe you should do the quadratic formula. Divide both sides by 7. And here we get our other root 0 solution to x-intercept. So we end up with x equals 0 and x equals 5/7. If you happen to decide to use the quadratic formula, if you did, I'm not going to work it all out, but if you did decide to use the quadratic formula, a would be 7, b is -5, and c is 0. And eventually you'll come up with the same solutions that I did. But you need to know what a is, what b is, what c is. 23. As I take a look at this one, we haven't done the quadratic formula yet, and I think that's the method I'm going to use on this particular one, since we were just talking about it. And the quadratic formula will be provided for you. The discriminant will not be provided for you. But the nice thing is that this equation is already set equal to 0. So a is 3, b is 2, c is 5. I'm going to fill in the quadratic formula. And it is x equals the opposite of 2, the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2. Okay? When we continue with this problem, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type in what's underneath the radical. I'm not going to type the radical in. So it's going to be 2 squared minus 4 times 3 times 5 times 5. We get negative 56. All divided by 2 times 3, which is 6. So that's a good start on this problem, but what we have to do now is we have to simplify this radical. The square root of negative 56, again, gives us good practice for this topic, starting with the fact of what's the square root of negative 1. Well, the square root of negative 1 is I. And then we've got 56. And now we're going to break down 56. And I chose 8 times 7. You didn't have to choose that. But then it's 4 times 2. And 2 and 2. And let's line them all up. Again, what we're looking for when we simplify these radicals is we're looking for 2 of the same value to take out 1. And we have 2's. So 2 of the same, we're going to take out 1, and you might want to cross it off. I've seen some people do that when they take it out. Then, don't leave 2 times 7. Put the 14 in here. And also don't forget, and I almost forgot myself, but this is 2i. So let's put that value back in. X equals negative 2 plus or minus 2i square root of 14 divided by 6. Now we can do one more thing. Negative 2 and the 2 and the 6 are all even numbers. We can divide all of our values by 2. Not the square root, only those values that are not in the square root. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. 2i divided by 2 is 1i. Don't touch the square root of 14. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And if you've been checking your answers, I believe the way I wrote it is that x equals negative 1 plus or minus I radical 14 divided by 3. Number 24. A couple of choices here. But right off the top of my head, I know that the numbers are big, but when I see a 5 in front of the x squared term, I think quadratic formula. Not the only choice. In fact, I think that I might even try factoring real quick just for a change of pace, but quadratic formula will definitely work. I'm going to just try the factoring here to keep it short. And when we factor, the first thing I see is that we've got a greatest common factor of 5. If we factor that out, we get x squared, 5x squared divided by 5, minus 7x plus 12, 60 divided by 5. The thing is, again, if you can factor, it's faster. Because if we do the quadratic formula on this problem, it's going to give us some big numbers, and we're going to have to simplify the radical and whatnot. But this one, I think, does work. I guess we're going to find out here. But it might be nice if I showed my work by splitting the middle. Here, I'm going to kind of ignore that 5. But we're looking at 1 times 12, which is 12. The factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And can we ever get 7 from any of these 3? And we can get them from 3 and 4 if we do negative 3 and negative 4. Negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. So I'm going to ignore that 5 there. But we get x squared minus 3x minus 4x plus 12. And let's group. In one group, our greatest common factor in the first group is x. And we're left with x minus 3. Watch out there because that's a minus. The greatest common factor in the second group is the 4. And when we figure out what goes in this parentheses, negative 4x divided by negative 4 is positive x. Positive 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. And when we finish factoring here, we've got x minus 3. We have x minus 4. And yes, we had that 5 out there. But we've seen this on an earlier problem, I think on the front page of this, but I don't remember exactly. But will 5 equal 0? 5 doesn't equal 0. What we need to be concerned about is we need to be concerned about when does x minus 3 equal 0? And when does x minus 4 equal 0? Then we can add 3 both sides. X equals 3. We add 4 to both sides. We'll get x equals 4. And on the last problem there, I hesitated. Should we factor? Should we use the quadratic formula? So why don't I use the quadratic formula on this problem here? And by the way, as I flip back here, that means that what I just did on this one is I did do the factoring. Again, you could have used the quadratic formula. I just think it might have been a little bit quicker if I did. But the quadratic formula everything's set equal to 0, so that's good. A is 2. B is negative 8. C is 5. So we fill in the quadratic formula, which will be provided for you. X equals the opposite of B, plus or minus the the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a. And when we simplify this, double negative gives us a positive. We've got 8 plus or minus. Remember, I'm not going to type in the square root, but I'm going to type in the numbers under that square root, which are negative 8 squared minus 4 times 2 times 5. And we get 24. Divided by 2 times 2, which is 4. The same thing's going to happen on this problem that happened on the last time when we did our quadratic formula. We need to simplify the square root of 24. We made good progress for the quadratic formula, but we need to simplify this. So 24 is 4 times 6, which is 2 times 2 and 2 times 3. And what we need are two of the same value. Take out 1. We took it out, so maybe you want to cross that out. And then we're left with 2 times 3, which is 6. Make sure you multiply that. And when we put that value back in here, it's going to be 8 plus or minus 2 radical 6 divided by 4. But again, like the last time we did the quadratic formula problem, what happens on this particular one is that 8 and 2 and 4 are all divisible by 2. So we're going to finish by dividing 8 by 2 to get 4. We're going to divide 2 by 2 to get 1. We're going to divide 4 by 2 to get 2. And if you don't prefer to write the 1, you don't have to. Now lastly, I just want to remind you that you might need to memorize 2 things. And the first thing that you might need to memorize is this discriminant. So I put this smartboard file up on your screen so you can see it in case that helps you to remember. The other thing, if you will, not the quadratic formula, you don't have to memorize that. The other thing that you have to memorize, conceivably, is that when you're taking the square root of a negative, it equals 1. Good luck on your test.